When the knock came at 9:47 p.m., Linda Munro was already in bed. She froze. No one ever knocked on her door at night. Not anymore. At 64, Linda lived alone in a quiet Arizona neighborhood where evenings ended early and surprises were rare. Her husband had passed 8 years ago. Her children had moved on with their own lives. Late-night knocks belonged to another lifetime. She sat up slowly, heart beating faster than it should. The knock came again. Firm, not angry. Careful. Linda pulled her robe tight and walked down the hallway. Every step felt louder than it was. She didn't turn on the lights. She didn't know why. When she opened the door, a young woman stood there holding a small suitcase. Her hair was messy, her eyes red like she had been crying for hours. "Are you Linda Munro?" the girl asked, voice shaking. "Yes," Linda said cautiously. "Who are you?" The girl swallowed. "My name is Rachel. You don't know me. But you used to know my mother." Linda stared at her, confused. Faces from the past came and went in her mind. Old neighbors. Old co-workers. Old friendships that faded without a goodbye. "My mom was Sarah Coleman," Rachel said. "She passed away last month." Linda felt the ground shift under her feet. Sarah. Her best friend from 25 years ago. The woman she laughed with, cried with, raised kids alongside. The woman she stopped talking to after one ugly argument that never got fixed. Linda hadn't said her name out loud in years. "I found your name in my mom's journal," Rachel continued. "She wrote about you a lot. About how she wished she had called you again." Linda's throat closed. She stepped back slowly. "Please, come inside." Rachel sat on the edge of the couch, hands shaking. Linda brought her water, her movements automatic. Old instincts waking up. "My mom didn't have anyone left," Rachel said quietly. "Before she died, she told me to look for you. She said you were the one person who really knew her." Linda sat down across from her. Her hands trembled now. Sarah and Linda had stopped speaking over something small. A misunderstanding. Pride. Hurt feelings. Then time did what time always does. It made silence feel permanent. "I thought she forgot me," Linda whispered. Rachel shook her head. She never did. That night, Rachel slept in the guest room. Linda lay awake until morning, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment she should have picked up the phone and didn't. The next few days changed Linda's life in ways she never expected. Rachel stayed longer than planned. She was between jobs. Between cities. Between grief and survival. Linda didn't ask many questions. She cooked. She listened. She let the house feel alive again. They talked about Sarah. About mistakes. About regret. About how life doesn't wait for you to be ready. "One evening," Rachel said, "and my mom used to say you were like family to her." Linda looked down at her hands. "I failed her." Rachel looked at her gently. "No. You're here now." Weeks passed. Rachel found work nearby. She moved into a small apartment but came by often. They had dinner together. Watched old movies. Shared quiet moments that felt earned. One afternoon, Linda stood in front of the mirror and barely recognized herself. She was smiling. Not the polite smile she used with strangers. A real one. For years, Linda believed her story was finished. That life had already given her everything it would. She thought loneliness was the final chapter. She was wrong. Sometimes life doesn't knock early. Sometimes it waits until night, until you're tired, until you think it's too late. And sometimes, when you open the door, you don't just meet someone new. You meet the part of yourself that still had more life to live. If you stay till the end, subscribe for more real, emotional stories that feel like real life.